And if you don't mind, I'll demonstrate. First off, you start your knees and your hips at the top of the swing, lower part of your body. Arm and hand follow, bringing you into position to hit.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back or to Course Language. Whether it's your first time joining us or you're a regular member, great to have you on board. It's been another massive week in golf, and we bring this podcast to you all thanks to our very good friends at Callaway. Sam Hargraves, golf commentator, golf tragic, joined as always by the man who played on tour, won on tour, commentates on the tour, teaches others to hopefully win on tour as well. Ryan Lynch. Hello, mate.
Hello, Sammy. It's been a fun week. We actually had a game on the same golf course at the same time together today, which was nice. But you've had a fair bit going on just quietly. So why don't you start there? Fill us in, mate. I'm very happy to be here. Very, very enlightened. I'm stoked to be here. In fact.
Well, we've had a big day, so we might as well start at Yarra Bend because the Associates Pro-Am was on today, and I tell you what, could not have done any better for the weather. And that's one thing that the people that put it all together, including our intrepid producer, Nick, and the whole team, that's one thing you can't control. Everything else that they could control, they absolutely nailed, didn't they? The course was immaculate. The whole setup with all the sponsors on board and the people that were playing and the way in which the day was run. I'll tell you what, you've got to set your watch to it. There's Swiss watchmakers who are taking note of just how well that ticked along today.
Yeah, look, the golf course was in spectacular condition, I must say. Tim Bunn and all his staff, all the staff members down at Yarra Bend, CEO Macca, and obviously our man Nico, just hats off. It was a great day. Everyone showed up. There were a number of players out there that were just ecstatic about being out there, and it's nice to play with really good players from time to time and try and glean a little bit of information or just watch how they go about it and try and apply that to your own game. So any chance you can play with a really high quality player, it's always good for your own game. But Yarra Bend stood up. I thought it was a pretty reasonable test as well today. Fairways were striped. Golf course was magnificent. A little bit of bounce about as well, and the weather was just awesome as well. So couldn't fault the day.
I'll tell you what was great is that on the poster, and you've put on a good day when you got yourself on the poster, Dave McKenzie, multiple winner, and Phoenix Campbell, multiple winner on the PGA Tour of Australasia, and Dave, of course, has played all around the world as well. But that's the caliber, and then the associate pros, like young Bailey, who we were paired with, and I had a great group. Anthony Scott again, we're spending a fair bit of time together, Scotty and I, from Duck Hook Golf. And one of my very dear friends, the great Robert Mills, was part of our group too. Never seen a bloke happier scoring 19 Stableford points. They gave him a handicap of 18, which I thought was a bit rough because the last time he played was 2 years ago, roughly, at a charity golf day at Royal Melbourne. And he walked along, and Nick came along, and Rob just walked along saying, how good's this course? This course is so good. And I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. And he said, now, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass, Nick, but I last played golf at Royal Melbourne, and then paused to see if Nick had heard of it. Yes, Rob. He goes, I actually am enjoying this better, but don't tell, I don't want to, but this is just wonderful. This course is so great. I'm loving So I don't know if you get any higher praise than that. And, of course, even he knows that Royal Melbourne's, one of the very best courses in the world. But what he was talking about was his enjoyment of the course itself. And I think that's huge praise.
It's very high praise. I mean, look, they're not anywhere near in the same ballpark.
I mean, clearly he's got no idea what he's talking about.
In terms of, golf course and quality of golf hole and just the routing. On every metric, Royal Melbourne is clearly head and shoulders above Yarra Bend. And I don't think that was exactly necessarily what he was saying. We spoke to him, I spoke to him afterwards, but he was blown away by the fact that he lived so close, he was just in Fitzroy, not too far away, drove down a couple of roads, felt like he was still in the city, but he was just so detached from everything. And that's what Yarra Bend is great for. You're within 5 or 7 kilometres of the city. and you're surrounded by parkland. You don't hear a car drive past. You don't hear a tram. You hear no hustle and bustle. It really is its own little sanctuary. And I think that was what he was talking about, that the escape was there and that he enjoyed the green complexes, and it was in good nick. Don't get me wrong. But I think and I'll be curious to ask you later on in the show as well, what your preference is, because it was clear that he was enjoying the company that he was keeping. He was playing with a nice young player as well, one of his best mates, and we got a great day. So, look, all of those things add up. In fact, we were talking to a couple other people as well. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this as well, but would you rather play a great golf course or would you rather have great company? I think we've spoken about this before in the past, but it has a huge impact on your enjoyment of the day.
Well, I was actually playing with him at Royal as well. So,
it's not your company.
I don't know if I was just a lot better company today than I was the last time around. But no, I mean, I think that was what he was referring to as well. And also the fact that if you don't play much golf and then you try and have a swing for the first time in several years and you're doing it at Royal, I mean, it's going to eat you alive. And that's why I mean, Yarra Bend ate me up alive. I'm not ashamed to say it today. I had a shocker, and it got me hook, line, and sinker. It put me away in no uncertain terms. But I think that's what he felt like. He was more of a chance out there, fair, having not played in a while, which I think is, again, praise for the course, because it does offer something for everybody. And courses like Yarra Bend are so important. The amount of public rounds that go through there, the driving range as well, the mini golf, as far as a golfing destination and facility that touches the lives of thousands and thousands of people each and every year, it is just as, probably if not more important, I think, in the role that it plays than perhaps a Royal Melbourne is. I mean, this isn't about, please, if you're listening to this, don't think for a second that we're comparing one of the greatest courses in the world, Royal Melbourne, and maybe the Composite is the greatest course in the world. But we're talking about for everybody here, and we're talking about the role that the courses like Yarra Bend play. And for me, having golf that's available, attainable, affordable, and achievable is just as, if not maybe more important, in the growth of the game and continuing to feed the game of new players as a place like, which is Royal Melbourne, which is the other aspirational. So that's why I think it was so great, and that's why Yarra Bend is so great for mine. How did you play?
I didn't play too bad. I wasn't too disappointed. I played with my brother Steve, who we've spoken about on this pod before. So congrats to Steve, and he had a big part in putting the day together. And we played with a couple of the major sponsors. We had a great day with Niall and Max out there, and it was good fun. I had a few under. Wasn't too certainly didn't light the world on fire, but I had a great day out there with Steve. He did a great job putting it together. It is hard sometimes to play your own golf course as well when you put the whole day together. But we saw you a couple of times on a couple of different fairways, unfortunately, Sammy. And
fairways that I shouldn't have been on.
Over to say good day to us from the other fairway.
I saw your dad. Actually, I didn't notice it was Dale when I saw you near the end, and I'd teed off on 1 because we started on 3, and I'd snap hooked onto 18, and I had about 160 in over the trees, and I really did crush a 7-iron to just the right edge of the green. And then I looked and Dale just gave a little nod, and I went, okay, Dale, it was nice. And as nice as it is to hit a nice shot in front of you, mate. Just there was a little pep in the step on the way back when I'd struck one pretty sweetly in front of Dale. No, we had a great day. And Bailey Cooper, he was 5 under through the first 9 holes. He was lighting it up. And everything he was doing. And one of the things that Rob spoke about, and this is the great thing when you get to play with, when I've played with you and when you play with other pros, there is something that the ball does in its flight that is very different to what the rest of us are doing. And it is that second lift and the fizz that it makes through the air. And I don't think Rob had ever seen that. And just when he hit his first shot of the day, he actually said, whoa, he was blown away by the trajectory, the lift, the flight, and then the sound that it made. And and Anthony Scott won't mind me saying this, that he only heard that once every 4 shots, I reckon, over the course of the day. But he got to 7 under at one point, young Bailey, and we thought, hang on, we're course record watch here. And the moment we started talking about that, he ran into a little bit of trouble. So I feel like it was our fault. And he watched me put a lesson on in how to talk disparagingly to yourself, and I hope none of that rubbed off on him, because I was sort of doing it a little bit tongue-in-cheek. But no, great day. Congrats to everyone. And Millsy actually won the year's supply of Bolter, the beer for a year, thanks to the team at Bolter in the chip-off, which was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
So
UMC'd
he's
it
a very happy
well.
camper.
And look, all the members that came out and made it a great day, the camaraderie at the end of the day, I think that's ultimately what golf is all about. Everyone having a chat afterwards, having a couple of drinks and enjoying some nice lunch after a great day on the links. So yeah, Rob got it done in the chip off, which was great stuff.
So he likes a crowd. So every time he did something that he thought was okay, he'd turn for the applause, because he is Australia's leading man of musical theatre. And now I've said you're a quadruple threat. He sings, he acts, he dances, and he chips. So he's a quadruple threat, and he's very happy. I've had a trillion texts afterwards about how much he loved the day and how excited he was to win the beers. And Sam Taunton, by the way, one of Australia's finest comedians, he was one of the co-hosts on the panel. He played today as well, and he's a very, very good golfer. He used to play like state level juniors for New South Wales. Yeah,
he used to play pennant for Bonnie Doon when he was living up in Sydney. So very
check
handy
out his
golfer.
show. Yeah, and there was one thing that you're never supposed to do in the years that I've worked in commercial radio with comedians. So what should you never say to a comedian? So when you meet them, don't ever say, "Tell me a joke." "Oh, you're a comedian, eh? Tell me a joke." So when he stepped up, I introduced him, and then I said, "Sam, tell us a joke." And he said, "Well, I saw your swing earlier today." And then he just left it, and it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I teed him up, he knocked it out of the park. So go see his show. He's a very funny man and a very fine golfer as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but a great day. So well done to everyone, and hopefully we're doing all that again. And you and I are playing together this time, because we didn't play together today, but we're playing on Wednesday at the National, the last event of the PGA Tour of Australasia season. So it's a pretty lethal group, apart from myself. It's you, me, Glenn Maxwell, and I'm not sure who our pro is yet, but it should be a good day.
It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to having a hit, mate. Looking forward to seeing it up close and personal, not just from a couple of different other fairways. So we'll see. Yeah. It will be a great day. That golf course, and we'll talk a little bit more about this as we get around the grounds. But absolutely, every time I go out to that Gunnamatta course at the National, I enjoy it more and more. And I'm reading Tom Doak's book at the moment, or one of his books called The Little Red Book, and it's a new adventure every time you head out there. So we'll get a little more content from that one than we did today, mate. I've got one more thing to say. I actually went down to the Callaway studio during the week and got myself fit for some new irons and maybe a new wood as well with my wedges. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't been fit for a while, it's something you just absolutely have to do. I actually gave a lesson to a bloke the other day, really good player, and he hadn't been fit for a while. And just we had a bit of a look at his lie angles, and they were just a little bit out. So we changed them around, and it made a huge difference. It's one of the pillars that improves your golf, making sure that your body's right, making sure that your equipment's right, and making sure that your technique is half decent as well. So get yourself fit. It was truly, it was brilliant.
Part of that down pat. Body, technique, faltering, but equipment.
You're on. And look, the facility is obviously magnificent down in Rowville. Mark Wong was the fit that I had for the day. Absolutely.
How's the head of hair on him?
He's one of the suavest looking blokes of all time. But truly,
yes, he is.
A real pro, and it gives you all your numbers. We're going to release a little video. We recorded the session. We spoke about the trajectory that I like to see, the spin windows that we like to hit, and then just making sure that everything makes sense. So you may get to the point, or you may notice yourself when you're out there practicing or playing, that your 4 and 5 iron don't fly a good enough distance to justify having both of those clubs in your bag. So maybe a hybrid might be your go, or a 7 wood, or some sort of 5 wood. it doesn't matter what is on the bottom of the clubs, whether it says 4-iron, 5-iron, whether you've got 2 4-irons in there, but they land at different numbers. It's just so important to make sure that you've got that dispersion from front to back down pat, especially with your irons. You just don't want that one that jumps out really hot. You don't want a 7-iron that can go 170 meters and a 7-iron that goes 140 meters in the same conditions. You want that tight dispersion from front to back as close as possible. And the only way to really measure that is to get down, get fit, or jump on a TrackMan and go out there and do that. And if you can't get that done, I would suggest figuring out where that or why that's not working. And you can do that with any of the Callaway guys or any of the Callaway fitting studios. It was brilliant in there, and the service was absolutely first class. So, yeah, thank you to Callaway for having me down. I look forward to fixing up and getting a hold of these new weapons. I'm excited.
Just speaking of our very good friends at Callaway, Lynchy. And by the way, with those numbers, one of the things I wish I had done was kept mine. So that when I was, going to the range and things like that, there's parts of those numbers that are available when you're at a range that's got, whether it be, the Top Golf or Top Flight or TrackMan, whatever it might be. They've got some of those that you can sort of keep an eye on to see, well, when I was hitting these clubs at their peak, which is why we got them fitted, am I matching up to those at the moment? I reckon it's another great thing to do, and I wish I had done that.
For sure.
If the camera's getting this year, we might need to widen out. But we did shoot a little video today at Yarra Bend, the big reveal over one of the biggest, most engaged with pieces of podcasts that we put out, which was an off-the-cuff chat about us getting our names on the Callaway, the tour bags or the staff bags that they were offered to us with the Course Language logo.
Is it?
This is the reveal. So you can see here.
Did you or did you not get your name on your bag?
Magnificent Course Language. Well, never has. I mean, the luminaries that got involved, multiple professionals that got in touch with you on the post and then in private saying, don't you dare let him do that. Mike Clayton weighed in, and that's significant weight behind the name.
It is.
Of Mike Clayton, the godfather of Australian golf. But I did have a few people that said, oh, you should definitely do it. It was a couple of cricketers, Adam Crossweight, Andrew Naboo, the soccer player from Melbourne City, a couple of AFL players, and I just can't remember. I was speaking to a couple of them the other day, and two of them said, "Oh, you should definitely do that." David Schwartz said you should definitely do that. He goes, "I did it," but I can tell you,
Schwartz.
and I don't need to spin it around. It's high time that high-handed, high-horsed attitude towards names on golf bags changed, and I was going to be the man to do it until I chickened out. So no, I took your advice. I defer to you,
man.
And I didn't get it. This is what we got, the Course Language podcast logo. I defer to your better judgment. I will say this, Course Language confessional time. After that episode, as soon as we finished recording, I frantically sent an email because I had approved the design to get my name and the logo on the bag.
Brilliant.
And I had to, please tell me you haven't done it yet. Please tell me you haven't done it yet. I said, no, I was doing it tomorrow. Said, abort. So
it was wide reaching. All your employees, there was a lot of chatter around the SEN studios about you getting your name on your bag. It reached heights. I don't think it's time to change. I think Clayton said it best when he said, if you're playing well, people will figure out what your name is, and if you're not playing well, you don't want anyone to find out what your name is anyway. So that was well said from the godfather of golf. And I'm glad you didn't get your name on your bag, Sammy. I'm proud of you for that. That
it looks pretty
phone
good,
call
though,
was
doesn't
worth
it?
it.
Oh no, I'll tell you what, it was touch and go. It was touch and go for a minute. Hey, let's get around the grounds. It's been a big week in golf.
Well, Bryson faced one of the greatest players on the planet. He took on an entire nation on home soil, and this remarkable golfer has beaten everyone.
Lynchy, we're going to try something a little different. We're aware now of a little thing called Google, where people will have these results pretty much before we get them out. But let's just touch on the performances of the week, and you can't go past Hannah Green. 16th professional win. She wins the Australian WPGA. 3 wins in a row. I mean, there is just something quite extraordinary about that in and of itself. She last won the HSBC Women's World Championship for the second time, comes to Australia, wins the Australian Open, and then backs it up and wins the Australian WPGA. What can you say about Hannah Green that hasn't already been said? I mean, what a month.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, I'm just so excited to see how she performs at the majors again this year. We heard Kari Webb is going to be the captain again for the Olympic team, which is exciting stuff. And Kari was there, obviously, to congratulate Hannah. But just what can you say that hasn't already been said? She's in incredible form. She's got Jared Felton, her husband, on the bag, who's foregone his own professional career at the moment to be caddying for her, and they're clearly clicking at the moment, and just spectacular fashion as well to go and win your home Open and back it up with the WPGA. She's a spectacular player, and I just can't wait to watch her for the rest of the year. It was great scenes and a great event put on, and it was out as well. The spectacular 4 or 5 weeks that the WPGA in Australia has had as well, bringing the LIT co-sanction events to Australia. Hopefully that goes from strength to strength. You know, our women golfers are some of the best in the world, and we're showcasing that now on a platform to people that are really starting to get into the game, as we spoke about a few weeks ago. And I couldn't be more proud of the way that our women golfers handle themselves. And I mean, look, sky's the limit.
And the crowds were fantastic. And this is what I firmly believe. I think that's what Hannah and our biggest names in women's golf believed as well. It's what Karen Lunn and all the people involved from the PGA, the WPGA, Golf Australia. When you give a platform and clear air to women's sport, and you put it up and say, this is what's happening right now in our game, and you give it a really good run. And that 4 weeks was just a superb run. It was so well put together, so well executed. The people turned up and turned out. The players put on great performances. I mean, it lived up to everything that we hoped it would be and more, and just goes to show you that if you give women's sport, or any sport, the respect it deserves, and give it a platform and give it clear air, and then you will get back in kind what you put out. And I think that's a great example of what's happened over the last month.
Yeah, well said. That was a great event.
PGA, Matt Fitzpatrick, that's good news, I reckon. When the best players in the world, Lynchy, are getting to their best form, when we are getting closer and closer to the first major of the year, oh, yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah.
And a one-shot win to Fitz after what would have been a disappointing players result when he went down by one shot to Cam Young. He flips the script on that. And, I tell you what, he's a major winner in his own right. And having major winners in their best coming into the first, that's great news.
Hasn't it been a turnaround for Matt Fitzpatrick from sort of this time last year? Luke Donald went and told him that he wasn't quite at the level to be selected for the Ryder Cup, and the tear that he's gone on in the second half of last year and now following on into this year. I really hope we see the best from Matty Fitzpatrick, because he's a fascinating watch. He's an interesting individual. He kind of he makes you feel like you can do it, doesn't he? He's great to watch, and it's nice for him to carry on that form that obviously found him right at the pointy end of the players last week, and he got beat, unfortunately, by some very, very impressive play down that 18th hole, and perhaps we didn't give it the kudos that it deserved, but nice to see him playing well. Xander Schauffele signs a life. Marco Penge. Sungjae Im keeps doing things as well. All of these guys we're going to have to keep an eye on come Masters time, and it's right around the corner now. And even Jordan Spieth showing a little bit as well, finishing T11 this week. So Brooks Koepka keeps creeping up as well. He might pinch one shortly. So, great stuff. It was a fun event. I've played this course as well, actually. It's the Valspar at Innisbrook. I played with Ryan Fox around there at an amateur event one year, and very, very difficult back then for me, but it's not difficult for Matty Fitzpatrick. What about LIV? What did you think about that?
Oh, I just thought it was amazing. this is again, and well done to everybody that turned up en masse. I mean, I don't want to look at the final crowd numbers because I don't want there to be any possibility that it's not the Adelaide LIV event that has the biggest crowds. But geez, that number would have to be under threat, wouldn't it, Lynchy? Given the turnout in Johannesburg for the first ever LIV tournament in South Africa, and well done to LIV for taking it there. Well done to all the people for turning up and turning out in the way that they did. And it's just another reminder to the PGA, have a think about what you want to be and who you want to be and who you want to cater to and who you don't want to cater to, because there is a world out there that is screaming out for elite golf. You build it, we will come.
Absolutely.
And they do.
And I think...
how good was it?
Oh, brilliant. Having Bryson DeChambeau and Jon Rahm obviously at the pointy end again, playoff time. Same as what we had in Australia, to be fair. AK coming from the clouds and producing probably one of LIV's most incredible or most memorable victories of all time. But exactly right. And I think that this highlights when you've got a team that a country can get around and you take this type of format to these countries, then the sky's the limit for what you can bring to the on-ground experience. Now there was some interesting footage coming out, but I don't even want to sort of touch on that right now. But the scenes around that 18th green, the players clearly got swept up in the emotion of the whole thing. Bryson had some stuff obviously going on as well. Said it was a really, really important and memorable win for him. But the scenes around that 18th green were just spectacular. And, you know, the Southern Guards, the South African team, brilliant. Absolutely loved it. So, yeah, create and they will come. I think the Ripper GC and the Southern Guards clearly have drawn the biggest crowds and they've taken the events to places that people will show up. So, well done to LIV in that week.
Yeah, there are thoughts that maybe the party atmosphere might have even outshone and outdone the party atmosphere at LIV Adelaide. But over 100,000 tickets sold, so it's on par with with Adelaide, which is a good thing. I mean, I haven't seen what you've seen in terms of what the crowd were doing, but the numbers are what we want to focus on, and the rest you can. Yep. Fix over the course of next time they put that on and what they will and won't tolerate. But it was clearly a very emotional Bryson DeChambeau as well. And I don't love that he's going through something. You don't want that for anybody. But for the fact of him to open up to say, look, things aren't great for me at the moment. And he did touch on some of the stuff with his dad, but he wouldn't go into details, and nor does he have to with the other stuff. But for him to just own it, and to be able to perform in the way that he did, sport loves stories. Clearly, there's a story there, and he was really the story of that tournament. Yeah. And again, that's 2 wins in a row for him. And again, he's Augusta around the corner.
100%.
I mean, feel like he's got unfinished business there.
For sure. It was great to hear him talk about perspective. And what golf is, and certainly golf has been probably the major driver of his life, but a little dose of perspective as he was talking about lets us into that sort of human side of Bryson DeChambeau that we don't often get to see. So it was great to see. And in fact, we'll get back to LIV in a second because I do want to talk to you about Jon Rahm, who's just refusing to pay these fines. So I do want to get back there. But just very quickly, Jordan Gumberg gets his second win on the DP World Tour this week, the American at Mission Hills in China on the DP World Tour. Now, did you see the fresh airy that we had during that event by any chance?
Well, that's the mulligan for the week, surely. I mean, I've done one of those myself. I spoke about that in a course language confessional on this podcast, all thanks to Callaway. Not that they'd probably want to be associated with that moment, but here we are. And I owned up to it. Mine wasn't on camera, though. So if I didn't want to, there's only 4 people that and everyone else at the Cheltenham Golf Club, because there's a few in there that run their mouth. So they should. But that was on broadcast, worldwide television. That is brutal.
Yeah, he's missed it. Clearly there was a cough or something in the background and something put him off. But geez, you have to power through that. You can't have an airy. Just, it's a cough. I know, look, I've been out there. Things can startle you. You might not be feeling comfortable at the best, or at the time anyway, but that was horrible. Wasn't a good look at all. Seeing a pro
just
take
quickly,
a fresh airy.
I want to get your thoughts on Jon Rahm, but we got to give a pump up to Brooks Koepka because there was a young lady that got caught under a golf cart at the Valspar, and Brooks Koepka, the first on the scene to try and help her. And there's a lot of people that have certain views of Brooks, and that is the mark of the man there to just throw down the club and quickly. He's the first on the scene, apparently, from the story I read, and was doing everything he could to help. Golf is secondary in those moments, so well done to him. So explain to me the situation now currently with Jon Rahm.
Well, the situation is still unchanged. He's quoted as to saying they offered us a deal that I don't think was right, but if they change it and let me play a minimum of 4 events, then I'll sign with them. But he's won another $2.7 million this week. That's how much he owes in fines. It's just not that much to go and play a tour that won't let him play any events against what tour he's on. It's not an open market. And I'm really worried that if he doesn't play in that European Ryder Cup team, it could ripple through. This could have a huge impact on the European Ryder Cup team if all the song and dance that they've been going on about that we'd pay to play the Ryder Cup, like just give us the chance, and they hold that against the Americans and they use that as almost like a lightning rod as competitive juice, competitive firepower. And look, the US side, if Jon Rahm doesn't end up signing this deal and committing to 6 events on the DP World Tour, it's not that big of an ask. It's not like he's playing a jam-packed schedule that is crazy. And I know you were strong on the fact that you think the DP World Tour needs him more than Jon Rahm needs the DP World Tour. But in my eyes, I actually think I've had a bit of a think about this. I think Jon Rahm actually needs the DP World Tour just as much as the DP World Tour needs him. For his legacy in the game, he's going to need to keep competing in Ryder Cups. And for his legacy in the game, he's going to have to leave more than a gaping hole in the tour that he supposedly loves. And I just think this is a little bit petulant at this point now. I understand why he's doing it. I understand his take. But in terms of your legacy and the memory that you leave behind and the type of person and player that you want to be seen as amongst your peers, amongst your playing partners and amongst your fans, I think this is now starting to damage that reputation that whether or not he holds that dearly or not, I think it's just starting to damage that reputation. And I think that without the DP World Tour, he can't rectify it. So I think he needs to pull his socks up, pay his fines, and just get on with it. I'm taking a hard line here now.
He's withdrawn his appeal, but he said that he has no interest in paying the outstanding sanctions, which means the stalemate will continue. His argument that the fines are unjust and that he feels he's being punished for missing events that he wouldn't consider playing in anyway. So I think this has still got a long way to play out. I expect that he will be suiting up for the Ryder Cup. That's my prediction right now. It'll get resolved one way or another, whether he pays them or he doesn't pay them. What will be interesting in all of this to finish on, and it's the watch, is that every time Rory gets asked about it, there's a little more that Rory gives. What Luke Donald will want to avoid here is come Ireland, that his 2 biggest names are at loggerheads, because I'm hoping that behind the scenes, whenever they're both getting asked about it, that they're having their own conversations just to go, yeah, mate, we're all good, we're all good. If that's not happening and this continues to be played out from both sides in press conferences, then Luke Donald's got a problem coming into that, because if he does play and that's not sorted out, then they've got an issue. And they've never had those issues in this team, in this current era, the Ryder Cup. If he doesn't play and it gets nasty, that's another issue for Luke Donald. So that's the watch for me. Not only is does he or does he not pay, does he or does he not play, it's how this goes back and forth, and then do other players get drawn in. So when he walks into that locker room, how are the vibes? So I'm interested in that. I want to get to a scramble this week, Lynchy, because I got a good one for you, I reckon.
Let's do it.
I don't want a piece of you. I want the whole thing.
I'm a great scramble partner.
I don't want a piece of you. I want the whole thing.
Yeah, I did a few things here and there.
All right. Now, we do have a couple of listener questions to get to today, so I'm really excited to get to those. But on course language, all thanks to Callaway, each and every week, not each and every week, but when we feel like we've got something up our sleeve, we bring a question to the table that we'd like to throw up for debate. The other person in our little duo here doesn't know what the question's going to be, but they get to pick the side of it that they'd like to argue. That is the essence of the Scramble, and it's my go this week, Lynchy.
Bring it on, Sammy.
There's been a lot of talk about whether there should be a fifth major and whether it's the players and whether it should be the players at TPC Sawgrass. I'm going to put that to the side for one moment. One of the things that you've always said to me is that the golf courses matter. The golf courses are as big a star as the players, and they should be treated as such. So with that in mind, there is only one major that each and every year is played at the same venue. Don't worry about a fifth major for now. But should one of the other three pick and stick with one of the best courses in the world so that each and every year we are back at that course for that major, so that 2 out of the 4 majors are played at the same course every year?
Fascinating. That's a good one there, Sammy. Very nice. And look, coming off the back of the Players Championship, which is obviously played at TPC Sawgrass, you now start to get a feel. I mean, look, long time watcher, but you know the feel. I've been fortunate enough to play that golf course. You know the routing. You know what holes are coming up. You know where they need to hit it. You know where the birdie stretches are. You know where the danger stretches are. You know where not to miss it. I think that's probably a reasonable question to ask. I just don't agree with any opens being stuck or cemented at one course, because if you've got a US Open, my true belief is that should be I'd be more than happy for the US Open to become an America's Open. But if it's the US Open and it's the United States of America, I want that Open to represent the whole country. I want that event to travel from place to place, showcasing the best of what American golf has to offer. And I think that the champions of that event should be very proud of wherever they won their US Open, and same for the Open Championship as well. And I think that the Open Championship is going to start to potentially branch out away from the British Isles as well. We've seen it jump across to, obviously, Northern Ireland a couple of times now at Royal Portrush, which I think only enhances that championship. I think there's rumours of it heading to Portmarnock at some point. I was playing with Niall today, who's an Irish fella himself, and he used to work at Portmarnock, and said that he thinks that it might be starting to move in that direction. So I don't want those to change at all. And it'd better be a golf course that doesn't necessarily shine or doesn't necessarily only highlight one aspect of a player's game to determine a champion. I would hate to see USPGA, for example, head to a golf course that only rewards length or only rewards great iron play from, say, 120 to 150 yards. It needs to be a full test, and there's not very many golf courses these days that actually provide that test for the best players in the world. I think it works so well at the Masters. I hear what you're saying. I think it works so well at the Players. I think there's merit in what you're saying, but no, I think the Opens should move around to represent the entire country or the continent that they represent.
So I'm glad you took that side, and I hear everything that you're saying, but it also semi-contradicts. No, it doesn't. That's a bit rough. Because I love the idea of yours that the golf course is just as big a star. And I know there's enough incredible golf courses in the world to be able to share majors around for the rest of time, and there'll be more courses that come up that'll lay claim to being good enough to host them. But I just think, again, for the spectacle and for the story, to be back at a particular course each and every year, I love what it does for the Masters, and I think that it should be either the PGA Championship or the Open. And I just think, why is the Open not played at why is the Open not played at St Andrews Old Course every year? Because the history of this game is extraordinary, and there is no more historic major than the Open. There is no more historic course than the old course at St Andrews. If there are two courses in this world that can lay, and one of them already is, but one of them should be, as the home to a major, I just think that the romance of that, it just gets the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. I just so that you've always got a touch point to the history and the origins of the game once a year.
Yeah,
you can find other tournaments to play at those other incredible courses, whether they be National Opens, whether they be Ryder Cups, whether they be whether it happens with LIV and so on and so forth. But I think the romance of that is undeniable. That each and every year you're at the old course. And here's the thing: if you only ever got to play, we know players that have played in one major in their life, like Anthony Quayle, right? He's played in the Open. He played the year that Cam won at St Andrews. I asked him about what was it like to play a major. What you played a major, and he goes, "Yeah, I played the Open." I said, "What year was that?" And he said, "Oh, it was 2022." And I said, "Oh, St Andrews." He goes, "Yeah," and it meant a little more, because it was at that course.
Yep.
So just for I think of those players as well that only ever get to play in one, and it could be there. You get to play Augusta once, you might get to play St Andrews once in a major. And I just think that the romance of that and just the parody of it, your two most prestigious are at the two most prestigious courses. They might not be the two best courses in the world, but they are the two most prestigious. And then all those other courses like Cypress Point and Oakmont and, National Golf Links. I'm just going through the rankings at the moment. Shinnecock, Royal County Down and Pine Valley, TPC. Yep. TPC is definitely a major course just because of the 17th alone it could host that. And that's not to be disparaging to the rest of the course. But I just love that. Just feels like it has a better structure to it. That every year there's two majors that rotate, but every year you can be guaranteed that the first and the last lock them in. Augusta, St Andrews.
I like the romance of returning there every 5 years. I think you know the course well enough. I think you need, like, the Open Championship is supposed to be the toughest test. You play the elements, you play the course. The course changes I think every 5 years is enough. There's enough great golf courses on the Rota. I think it's special enough, and I think Anthony Quayle should be so thankful. Hopefully he plays in many more majors, but so thankful for the year that he qualified was at a venue like the Open, like the old course of St Andrews. And look,
he came top 20 too.
Yeah, it's not. It's just never always been played there either. So so many golf courses, so many golf clubs have hosted the Open Championship. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you on that one, but let us know what you think, please. Exactly right. I'm glad that we finally get one that we disagree on there, Sammy. But look, if you want to dump the PGA at a golf course that people can start to familiarise themselves with, go for your life. But my rebuttal to that is, you see week in, week out, the PGA Tour events on at the same course every single year. It doesn't make you tune in anymore just because it's at the same course every single year. Innisbrook, even Pebble Beach loses its shine. If you go there every single year, you can miss it from time to time and you don't feel like you're missing out on too much because you'll catch up again on the next year. I think there's something really magical about heading back to the old course every 5 years. It's enough. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and I think it gives you a reason to look forward to it.
You had a second bite at the argument there. It was just supposed to be one at a time.
I took another bite,
you did take another swing, didn't you? We got to get out of here, but before we finish up, and we've got a really special edition of a Quick Nine this week that we got from a man who's in the limelight this week for all of the right reasons. I'll tell you who that is in just a moment when we say goodbye. But we always want feedback. We always want Scramble questions sent to us, and James has done exactly that via our Instagram. And I reckon I might know who this James is, by the way. And if it's the James I think it is from back in Bendigo, and if it's not, I apologise. But if it is, then hello, mate. He's a very good man. And I'm glad he's got in touch with us. This is the question, Lynchy. Last week I was down at the Magical Barn Bugle Complex, 7 other blokes, golf trip. Sounds good already. You had me at Barn Bugle. Day 1, Barn Bugle, run the short course. Day 2, Barn Bugle Dunes. And then day 3, Lost Farm. How good. Trip we make every year. We had a situation where one of the members had a hole-in-one on the short course. It was on the 7th of the short course, measuring 111 metres. Please help us settle the argument. Does it count as a hole-in-one?
I'm curious to hear your opinion first. I'm unless you want me to go. I'm happy to fire.
Yes, lads, it was me who holed out. So that's why James is asking, because clearly he wants to get a little ball, put it on a trophy, like
fair.
My dearly departed Nan right here. And he's just not, he hasn't been given the all clear from all the other blokes in the group. For me, if it's a course that you have to pay money to play at, then I'm going to say count it.
Yeah.
It's a golf course. It's a type of golf course. You've hit off the tee. You've landed the ball in the hole-in-one. It's a hole-in-one. Count it.
Yep. I actually fully agree with you. It's a par 3 course. That just means that you get 9 extra cracks at it. I'm glad for James's sake that it was over 100 metres. It would be harder.
That's the qualifier, I reckon.
Yeah, it would be harder for mine at a pitch and putt course that maybe the hole's 60 metres or 50 metres or 80 metres. I think if you've had a hole-in-one already, you can chalk that up, pop the chalk on the chalkboard and count it as your second hole-in-one if you want to go down that route, because I'm not about to disparage short course play. I love short courses. I think the Kingston Heath par 3 course is that is more of a pitching golf course as well, is one of the funnest things you can do of an afternoon. And the Bugle Run as well, absolutely brilliant. We had a great time last time we were out there as well.
So
I think that James can count that as a hole-in-one. Put the boys, get the boys to fire us why it isn't a hole-in-one, and we'll take that on board and try to rebut them. But I think, James, you can absolutely count that as a hole-in-one.
Lynchy.
James
has asked us to be the decider, so we are deciding. Get the ball, put it on a trophy, lads, and I don't want to hear another peep out of those who are denying James his moment.
Yeah, no, good stuff, James. It's an exciting feeling. I do understand the concern and the worry, but no, enjoy that, mate. They don't come along very often. And look, to be fair, I know that 7th hole is a spectacular golf. You could have a 1 on a much worse par 3 at a different venue as well. So count that, Jimmy. Good stuff, mate.
And we do want to finish off. It's been another great week in golf. And the PGA Tour of Australasia season culminates this week. The National, the last event of the year. Travis Smythe has already sewn up the Order of Merit, but there's another couple of spots up for grabs, and there's a few people still in line to make those. It could be life-changing for them. So there's a whole lot to play out for in the final event of the season. So we wish everybody well. Congratulations to the PGA the PGA of Australia and Golf Australia for another incredible season. There's been stars emerged. There's been second lives given for people that have turned their golfing careers around. There's been so many great storylines all throughout the course of the season. We've loved bringing them to you each and every week, and we hope there's another great yarn to be had after the 4 days at the National. So good luck to everybody playing, and I've got Jimmy Marcassani. I'm going to go with him again. It's not him, it's Declan O'Donovan, but I'm going for Jimmy to get the win, to get one of those top 3 spots, to get his first PGA Tour of Australasia win. Callaway's own. Come on, Jimmy.
I love it. Do you know what? I started very strong every week backing this man in. He's been a little quiet the second half of the season, but I'm going with Nathan Barbieri. Yes. I reckon I think Barbs, come on, mate, just get that monkey off your back. Time to get this win and bookend this season with a spectacular performance, mate. And we're going to be going down there, as we said earlier on, to play the golf course on Wednesday. So we're looking forward to heading out there, and I'm looking forward very much to having a game with you, Sammy.
I can't wait, mate. Hey, jump on the podcast and the YouTube page as well. There's a couple of things we're putting up this week. One will be a quick 9 with Oscar Baker. That's who I was referring to earlier. Kick the sealer. in the Dogs' big win against Adelaide over there. It's one of 3 goals he kicked from just 8 disposals. He's part of Duck Hook Golf, and we love those guys. Love his story as well. He plays with a black armband on his arm every single week for his dearly departed mum. It's a really special thing that he does each and every week to honour his late mum. This is a guy that spent 5 years and played 15 games for Melbourne, delisted in the footy wilderness. Would have thought halfway through last year, Lynchy, that he might not have had any more time left on an AFL list, but he had a great finish to the year. He's still on the Dogs list, and he has started the year in ripping fashion, has become a difference maker and an X factor. He rolls out like Steve the Pirate. I love the look about him. I love the way he goes about it. We're rat for him. So make sure you check out the quick 9 that we've got from the Callaway Quantum launch with Duck Hook's own Oscar Baker. So check that out. Plus, our longest drive challenge. You, me, Nico, up against Scotty Bailey-Dale and Oscar Baker from Duck Hook, all from the Callaway launch. So check that out on the YouTube. We'll put it on the Instagram as well.
And to pin, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'll throw that one up as well. Yeah. We'll throw that one up there as well. A heap of great stuff. We've still got to come from that. Mate, I'll see you Wednesday. Hit 'em well.